The song tells it all, as this week the Professional Bowlers Spring Tour comes to California, specifically to the greater Los Angeles area. An area of great contrast, from the futuristic architecture that dominates the skyline of the great metropolis to the miles of sandy beaches that rim the Pacific coastline and serve as a year-round recreational backdrop for many fun-loving Californians. It's also an area dotted with familiar landmarks, such as the Hollywood sign looming over the motion picture capital of the world. And not far away, the tree-lined streets of Beverly Hills, cutting through immaculately manicured estates where backyard swimming pools and tennis courts are standard fare. Another familiar landmark, the Los Angeles Coliseum, built in 1932 for the Olympic Games, and in just 3 years scheduled to once again host the world's finest amateur athletes. In the 1984 Summer Olympics, we at ABC Sports are delighted that we will be bringing you coverage of the 84 games, just as we are glad today to be bringing you coverage of this week's stop on the Professional Bowlers Spring Tour. Live. ABC Sports presents the Professional Bowlers Spring Tour. Today, it's the championship round of the $125,000 Pennzoil Open, where these 5 bowlers will compete for the top prize of $20,000. In 5th place, Chicago, Illinois, looking for his 2nd title in 3 weeks, Bill Spigner. In 4th place, Tucson, Arizona, a man who had a 300 game to make it to the finals, Wayne Webb. In 3rd place, from Jacksonville, Florida, the winner of 2 PBA titles, Guppy Troup. In 2nd place, from Indianapolis, Indiana, former Rookie of the Year and holder of 3 championships, Mike Aulby. The tournament leader, one-time titleist from Buffalo, New York, having his best season ever, steady Tom Baker. We are live from Torrance, California for the $125,000 Pennzoil Open. Hi, everyone. I'm Dave Dials, filling in for your regular host, Chris Schenkel, who's out on another assignment. You know, this is the last single stop on the spring tour of the Professional Bowlers Association. And next week, with all of you, we'll be watching the exciting live coverage of the U.S. Open Golf Championship from Marion, Pennsylvania. And then the following week, exciting doubles bowling from Las Vegas, California. Today, well, let's talk about today. The starting field of 160 has been trimmed down now to 5 finalists, and among the 5 finalists, some contrasting styles. And the championship lanes on which the title will be decided, well, they've been producing some really big scores this week. We welcome aboard today some nice people from Pennzoil, new sponsors on the Professional Bowlers Tour, and we welcome aboard an old friend and colleague, Nelson Burton, Jr.
Thank you, David. A class field today. All the players have won titles. They're all champions. They're all experienced. Bill Spigner is red hot. He won 2 weeks ago in Portland, Oregon. In the first match, he'll be going against the bowler of the year, Wayne Webb. Now, Wayne's had a good year so far, but in order to catch up to Earl Anthony, who's the leading money winner so far, he's going to have to win some big tournaments. This is the last big one on the spring tour. The winner of that match goes against Guppy Troup. Guppy started the 81 season sensational. Unfortunately, he broke his ankle, was out 10 weeks. Looks like he's back in great form. In the number 2 position, the heir apparent to Earl Anthony, left-hander Mike Aulby. Mike came out in the tour in 1979, was the Rookie of the Year. 80 was number 3 in the money list. But this year he struggled a little bit, but he looks like in real good shape today. In the number 1 position, Tommy Baker. Tommy, methodical, classical, having a great year. He could be very tough to beat, but that's my opinion. And let's get an opinion of really some of the fans in the crowd. Debbie, let's see. We have a tough field of 5 players. Who do you like in the number 1 position?
I like Tom Baker, and the right-handers all seem to be bowling very well on this pair, and it looks like Tom Baker's going to be very hard to beat.
Well, that's an opinion. How about you, son? Who do you like today?
I like Mike Aulby. I'm a left-hander myself, and I've watched Mike bowl all week. He's got a great shot, and he's tough to beat on TV.
David, a variety of opinions. 90 minutes from now, we'll know who's correct.
Okay, Bo, and the winner will get a unique trophy, this replica of the Pennzoil Chaparral, in which Johnny Rutherford won the Indianapolis 500 back in 1980, and also will get $20,000. Second place worth $11,000. Third prize for $7,500. Fourth place is worth $6,000, and the 5th place finisher gets $10,000. Match number 1, Wayne Webb in a brand new 1923 Roadster against Bill Spigner, coming right up.
Here comes Johnny Rutherford. 3-time Indy 500 winner. To protect that engine at blazing speed, he runs with Pennzoil. Johnny's wife, Betty, she uses Pennzoil too. But she uses Pennzoil's regular-priced, gas-saving multi-weight oil. Pennzoil, for cars like Johnny's and Betty's and yours. Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
You're at the wheel of America's most popular sports car, Mustang.
Gonna drive some hot stuff, baby, this evening. Gonna drive my Mustang, baby, tonight.
Mustang. Engineered for seat-of-the-pants response with rack and pinion steering. Mustang, a car that bites when cornered. Precision-tuned. Mustang turns high mileage into Mustang, from the world of better ideas at Ford.
Sailing a tall ship is an old dream. But some men still dream it.
All bad. Take it things off. Put it to sleep. It's Miller time.
Miller time. Time to head in for the best tasting beer you can find.
When it's time to relax.
America's quality beer.
One beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
If you got the time, Miller's got the beer.
Along with Nelson Burton Jr., this is Dave Dials. We're live from Torrance, California, and it is sunny California today. Sunny and hot outside, and well lighted and a little warm inside, Bo.
Dave, I think the heat is going to be a factor, not only fatigue, but difficulty of holding on to the bowling ball. It is really hot in here.
And this is Wayne Webb. And he opens with a strike. Wayne Webb, it's like the Jolly Green Giant or Mr. Green Jeans out there today. Green shoes, green bowling ball, green outfit. This is Bill Spigner.
20,000 green on top. This is the last big tournament of ABC's spring tour. We also have the Doubles Classic. This is the last big singles tournament.
Next week, the U.S. Open. Spagner is out of Chicago, Illinois. 28th on the money-winning list last year. Really been hot lately.
He's really bowling well. He's always been one of the top players, I'd say in the top 20 or 30 on the tour. But this summer, he seems to really come into his own, David. He's really disciplined in throwing the ball as good as he's ever played.
Routine pickup of a spare. Bill Spigner, you know, is a guy who has picked up 25 pounds, where most people are trying to lose it. And we ask him how the added weight has affected his game.
Well, I purposely gained the weight about a year ago because I felt my body structure could hold a lot more weight, and I was always between 175 and 180 for a while, and I put on the weight for more endurance and more strength.
Okay. He endured the first frame, got a spare. See how he does here in frame number 2. Light.
David, there's what we talked about. You mentioned the very first frame, the heat factor. He just lost that ball at the bottom of his swing. Now, the ideal grip on a bowling ball, as far as tightness is medium tight on the fingers and a nice, comfortable grip on the thumb. But that can be changed quite a bit when there's perspiration on your hand. Makes it very difficult.
Bo, should you grip a bowling ball a lot like you do a golf club, have control of it, but not tight?
Well, David, it's like a dove. You don't want to squeeze a dove so hard to kill it, but you don't want to hold it light enough so it'll fly away on you. So if you can picture holding a dove in your hand, that's the way you should hold a bowling ball.
I can't, but I'm going to try to. The guy uses words like you use on last week's telecast. I'm going to do whatever you say. This is Wayne Webb. Really a carefree guy, 23 years old, bachelor, out of Arizona. Boogie King on the tour, they tell me.
He's a nice, relaxed player on and off the lanes.
Looked like a good hit to me, Bo.
Oh, he sawed the 5 right out, but it didn't quite get over to the 7 pin. On that hit, the players usually will drive the 5 into the 4 or into the 7. But that particular time, the 5 pin did not drive all the way into the 7 pin. Cross lane, easy spare.
His 7th appearance on the Bowlers Tour this year. His first on the Spring Tour, and he gets the 7th. Let's take a look at Wayne Webb, Bo.
Really a great style. He's short, 5'5", powerful upper body and arms, has a tremendous wrist action as he comes through. See, he doesn't turn the ball that much, but that wrist imparts tremendous revolution on the ball, and that's the key to success in a game of bowling, revolutions.
Is he giving the ball a little kiss there?
He blows in the thumb hole, actually, to kind of dry it out. It's a good idea.
This time, a stubborn 10. And again, looked like a good hit, Bo.
Well, it didn't quite finish, David. The ideal position for the strike for the pro bowlers is on the 17th board. That would be solid in the pocket. There's 39 boards on the lane. That particular ball hit around between the 16th and 17th board. Very small, only a half-inch difference, but a little higher, and he would have carried the 10.
Silly millimeter, huh?
You got it.
Cross lane, spare, routine for the throw. So, Wayne Webb leads this man, Bill Spigner, by 2 pins. Spagner up in the 3rd. And a strike for Spagner. Now, he's had a lot of strikes this week. He's been averaging more than 217 per game this week.
David, that was a great shot there. He got the ball well out over the foul line. When we talk about lifting the ball over the line, not so much lofting, actually lifting it over the line, you'd like to go about 18 inches over the foul line. That'll give you the ideal position to impart the spin on the ball. Spagner in the second frame lost the ball at the line. That time he lifted it out over the line. Good results, a strike.
Doing a little talking to himself there, too. Perhaps little reminders of what to do. And it worked. And he has a double. Bill Spigner out in front by 8 pins over Wayne Webb in game number 1 of championship bowling from Torrance, California.
Believe it or not, if 9 out of 10 of these homes burn down, there's no guarantee they'll be totally rebuilt. Because rebuilding costs are rising so fast, even inflation protection may not cover a home fully. But now, Allstate's got the brand new home replacement guarantee. Get it and get your home built back just like it was, even if rebuilding costs more than you're covered for. Ask your Allstate agent about the new home replacement guarantee. For ideas that make good sense today, you're in good hands with Allstate.
This is clear, solid lucite. Tough, durable, made by DuPont to last. Wouldn't it be great if a paint gave you this? Lucite house paint does. The same basic ingredient in solid lucite is a key ingredient in liquid lucite, so it's tough, durable, made to resist peeling and cracking, made to last. Lucite, a long-lasting paint based on a solid idea from DuPont. Now save $3 to $5 or more on lucite at participating stores.
Rev up for tough motocross action next, with Americans coming on strong in the U.S. Grand Prix Motocross Motorcycle Championship, plus home stakes excitement, and an advanced look at one of golf's most prestigious events. ABC's Wide World of Sports is next.
This is Dave Dials in Torrance, California, and as soon as we crown a champion here, we will bring you ABC's Wide World of Sports, the U.S. Grand Prix Motocross Motorcycle Championship from Carlsbad, California, and then Larry Holmes is going to analyze his victory last night, TKO knockout 3rd round over Leon Spinks for the WBA Heavyweight Championship from Detroit, and a preview of the U.S. Open Golf Championship from Marion Golf Club in Ardmore, Pennsylvania.
The alternate just finishing 6th. He won his last 7 games in the 24-round match play. Just missed. 6th place goes to David Houston.
You bowled well this week, Nelson.
Well, I beat 136 of them, but a few of them got by me.
Wayne Webb was trailing by 8, and he got a strike. Wayne Webb, we asked him earlier to analyze the championship pair of lanes that we're competing on today.
Well, I shot 300 on the championship pair. It's one of the highest scoring pairs in the house. Both lanes play real close to the same, and there should be real high scores today.
And he looks pretty well zeroed in right now. This is a key shot to get back in the match.
And he's in it. The 7-pin, which was so stubborn before for him in frame number 2.
Now watch the ball drive the 5 over into the 4-7, David. And that's why you put spin and power on the ball and hook. Many people ask why we just don't roll a straight ball down there. Would it be more accurate? Yes, but it will not carry those pins. Remember, those pins weigh 3 pounds, 5 ounces apiece. The bowling ball only weighs 16 pounds. Difficult to knock over 30 pounds unless you got the spin on the ball.
He seemed to make a little adjustment in that lane, did he, Bo?
David, he is playing the lanes a little different. In other words, he is going down and in or straighter on the right-hand lane, 14 here at Gable House, and playing a bigger hook on lane 13. And I believe that that is the proper way. There's his wife, Barbara, Barbara Urbanik, now Barbara Spigner, expecting in August. I believe that the way Spigner is playing the lanes is the proper way. Wayne Webb is adjusting with hook control. Spigner is adjusting with his feet on the approach.
Spagner has 4 in a row. Wayne Webb now trails by 18. The gauntlet thrown right down. Let's take a look at this action.
And this is what the solid 17 board hit is. Drilled solid in the pocket, all 10 pins driven right in the pit, David. That was perfect.
Hey, it's almost like an instant replay of last week, though. The challenge keeps going back and forth.
Well, 2 of the top players that have played each other, they're both from the East Coast. Bradley Bowl up in Connecticut, where we have one of our major tournaments.
The Windsor Locks, yeah.
You've been there, partner. And these players both are familiar with each other. They both bowl there. And as we said, these are a high-scoring pair of lanes. So they're shooting some good scores right now.
Webb looking for 4 in a row. And gets it. He has 4 in a row. So does Spagner. What a duel we have. Webb trailing by only 2 in match number 1, a professional bowler from California.
Don isn't too good at making breakfast, but last night I gave him an A in English.
Use English leather and get an A in the kind of English they don't teach in school.
I've been to school for 20 years.
But tonight he'll get an A in English.
I speak few words of your language.
That doesn't stop him from getting an A in English.
A plus.
Get an A in English with English leather. After-shaven cologne for men.
Your razor is the height of technology. But what about your aerosol foam? Today, the Rise Supergel era begins. Introducing new Rise Supergel. It's unlike any foam. It has a special lanolin gel formula that lubricates better than the leading foam. Get new Rise Supergel for a super close, super smooth shave that helps protect against irritation. Today, the Rise Supergel era begins.
The next stop on the Professional Bowler Spring Tour will be in 2 weeks when the pros visit the 24-hour-a-day city, Las Vegas, for the $110,000 Showboat PBA Doubles Classic, where Pete Couture will team with Tommy Hudson in defense of their title. That's in 2 weeks, live, 3:30 Eastern Time on ABC.
His real name is John Troup. Everybody calls him Guppy Troup. He's from Scotland, out of Jacksonville, Florida, and he's waiting in the wings, as Harry Golden says, to meet the winner of match number 1.
Guppy may be his nickname, but he's no fish out on the bowling lanes, David. He is a tough competitor.
Good. You know, he has another pair of slacks just like that, with the other leg is green and the other's yellow.
Well,
he likes loud trousers, doesn't he?
He sure does. He's a classy player, and he speaks very loud with his bowling ball. Spagner has 4 in a row working. He trails by 2 pins, could take the lead with another hit.
He's dressed out in Ohio State colors, the scarlet and gray. Looking for 5 in a row, and leaves the 9.
The one hit that everybody's had a little trouble carrying is the high trip 4 in this particular house. The reason being is they're lifting the ball so hard when they release it, the ball cuts through very sharply. Often the 2 pin is driven around the 4 and 7. The light hit is the best spot at the Gable house.
Leaves 9, or leaves 1, gets 9. Right on the money. So after 4 in a row, Bill Spigner gets a spare, leaving the 4 pin in the 7th frame. And he now trails Wayne Webb by 3.
Well, Spagner has really been bowling well. And I think the big improvement he's made, David, in the last couple of years, and especially this year, is the loft he has on the ball and lift over the line. He used to lay it short, very similar to Larry Lobb, who was our tournament leader last week. But Spagner, with that little extra loft over the line and lift, has become a little better player. His carry's a little stronger at the back end.
He's really been experimenting in the last 6 weeks. He told you what, tried 40 different bowling balls in the last 6 weeks.
Well, he tries to get one that he really likes.
A little thin hit and leaves the 7th pin. So for the second consecutive frame, Bill Spigner has knocked down 9.
The wall shot, David. The head pin goes to sideboard. The 4-5-7 is trying to be taken out by the head pin. Unfortunately, the head pin goes between the 4, does not scissor out the 7. Easy spare, cross lane. He'll still be trailing by 4 pins.
A good opportunity now for Wayne Webb. 23-year-old out of Tucson, Arizona. Just bought a 1923 Roadster and says he's going to drive it to Tucson tomorrow.
With a turbocharged engine, it's something else.
I don't know whether it was the moisture, the dampness, or what, but he seemed to let go of the ball a little prematurely. Didn't quite get into the pocket.
Well, Wayne uses rosin on his hands for almost every shot, but once again, with that heat that they have down there, that moisture builds up, and you don't get quite the lift when the ball slides off your hand.
A strike there would have put Wayne Webb in very good shape, but he has to settle for a spare, and the match remains very tight, just 3 pins.
Wayne Webb at 5'5" only uses 12 feet of the approach, but he gets the results done. In fact, he only uses 11. He doesn't even get to the foul line. But once again, you see that foot turning just a little bit as he comes through the ball. That's after he releases it.
And he carries it in one hand. Not very many do that.
Carmen Salvino is the father of that delivery.
What's the reasoning behind that, Bo?
Straighter arm swing.
It worked that time in what we call the building frame, the 9th, a very critical frame, and Wayne Webb has a strike up in the 9th.
Spagner coming up in the 9th frame. It needs a double to take the lead. The best Bill Spigner can do is 245. If he strikes the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, no matter what he does, he cannot shut out Wayne Webb. Webb still possible, 248.
Very, very thin. Spagner made some adjustments last night. He was in terrible shape last night, and then came back and struck out, didn't he?
Well, David, yeah, he's was really struggling on this particular pair. He had was working in a 160 game through 6 frames and then threw 6 strikes in a row to make the top 5 in the championship round. So you know he can come from behind. Right now, even if he converts his spare, he will be trailing by 6 pins.
Not as easy a spare as it looks.
When you have the 2-5-8 like that, you make sure to carry that back pin. That's almost part of our tip that we're going to have today. The 3-9-10, the split, you still have to carry the 9 pin to split. Anytime you have double wood, use a little less speed and a little more hook.
He has asked for a re-rack, and the rule on that is that you are permitted 1 during the match.
I think, David, most re-racks are psychological. A player wants a little time to regain his composure. Spagner needs 2 strikes here to take the lead and force Wayne Webb to strike. So he wants to gather his thoughts and put his best shots forward. He needs this one.
A second re-rack, you must ask permission from Harry Golden, our tournament director. Right on the money. Bill Spigner, a strike in the 10th. Watch this pin action.
Just drives up all 10 in the pit, solid in the pocket, 6 pin going to the sideboard, driving out to 10, great pin action. But now he needs 1 more to take the lead. In Portland, under the pressure, he threw a strike on the final ball to defeat Mark Williams, 237 to 235. Once again, he's under the gun, needs a strike to force Wayne Webb to strike.
Spagner, winner of 3 PBA titles in his 8 years as a PBA member, has won in excess of $24,000. Can almost double that by winning today. Top prize is $20,000. He was down asking for it and got it.
Sensational shot by Spagner. He just ripped the 5 out, drove it into the 4-7. Now he needs a 7 count or better to make Wayne Webb throw at least 1 strike to win the match. As almost all matches we see on the championship round, it goes down to the critical 10th and 11th frames. Spagner needs 7 in order to force Wayne Webb to strike.
He got 10. Heck of a finish for Bill Spigner out of Chicago, Illinois. And now Wayne Webb has his work cut out for him. Spigner finishes at 232.
Wayne Webb needs a strike on this ball or he does not win the match. There is no tomorrow if he doesn't strike.
And he leaves the 10. And he thought he had a good hit.
Best shot he threw in the whole match. He got the ball well out over the line, maximum turn and lift, and just tremendously unlucky. Look at the disappointment he had. He knew how well he threw it. You know, it's very disappointing, Dave, when you throw your best shot and you just get tapped. Some players can lose the ball and they can blame themselves. But that time, Wayne Webb was just unlucky. So
our winner is Bill Spigner. Let's pause just a moment here to hear these messages from some of the people who are bringing you this week's stop on the Professional Bowlers Spring Tour.
The Professional Bowlers Spring Tour. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by gas-saving Pennzoil Multivis. Quality in every extra mile. Ask for it. And by Ford and your local Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the new 1981 Ford cars and trucks, including Escort, the new world car from Ford.
Probably watch your monitor, Dave.
Along with Bo Burton, this is Dave Dials. We're live from Torrance, California. Spring Tour, the Professional Bowlers Association. In the first match, Bill Spigner has defeated Wayne Webb 232 to 228. And now it's going to be Bill Spigner against Guppy Troup out of Scotland.
Ford has some hot news for fan buyers. No matter how you slice it, for 1981, Ford is out front again. Ford's out front design gives more turnaround room inside. Plus, unbeaten estimated MPG. And the best highway rating of them all. And Ford backs all this up with big payloads, too. Yes, when you put it all together, you get one tough van out front where it counts. Is it any wonder Ford's America's best-selling van?
Do-it-yourselfers, get dirty. Get gritty, grammy, greasy, slimy, dirty, dusty, dungy, grungy. Get dirty.
We'll lava you clean.
Lava with pumice digs in, powers out tough dirt. Cleaner, faster, better than any leading bar soap. So go get messy, mussy, gloppy, sloppy, filthy, nasty, ugly, dirty. Get dirty.
We'll lava you clean.
Get dirty.
Grubby, grubby. We'll lava you clean.
Get dirty.
Grubby, grubby.
This is David Hartman. We'll talk with Mel Brooks all this week on Good Morning America.
All right, you see the results of match number 1. Spagner, 232, Webb, 228, and now Spagner has to take on another pretty loosey-goosey guy on the tour, Guppy Troup, who's out there to have a good time and has a very short backswing. Match number 2 on the spring tour of the Professional Bowlers Association from Torrance, California, along with Nelson Burton Jr. This is Dave Dials filling in for your regular host, Chris Schenkel. Look at those slacks. I'd give him 2 shots for that.
Well, he's got the sunglasses on to keep the reflection off his pants, partner. Guppy Troup, tough competitor.
And tough man in the first frame starts with a strike. And he told me, he said, you know, I live in Jacksonville, Florida, but he said, I want everybody to know that I am from Edinburgh, Scotland.
Yeah, he's very proud of it. Came over this country when he was young, and in Jacksonville, he does own a pro shop, though, so when he's off, he has a full-time business. When he's out here, he's one of the really tough competitors.
Now, those are prescription sunglasses on Guppy Troup. That's not just for effect. It's also to see. A little heavy on the head pin, and Bill Spigner leaves the 4-7.
What we can watch for is the lane starting to hook a little more. It's about 90, 95 degrees in the building. There's an evaporation rate of the conditioner on the bowling surface, and the lanes will start breaking more. The players have to adjust with a little move to the left with their feet or a little more loft and speed on the ball.
Trouble is, you don't know that till you miss a shot.
I agree. That's like having 2 putts, but sometimes that's what the game's about. Most of pro bowling is adjusting to the condition.
And Bill Spigner routinely picks up a spare in the first and saying to himself now, well, I can't let this guy get out in front. I need a strike right here.
That statistic proves that Bill Spigner is a steady player on the tour. His statistics for the last 3 weeks shows he's developing into a superstar. If he could win here, he'll be over $30,000 in just a 3-week period.
Once again, he knocks down 9 and leaves 1, leaving the 4-pin. Why did he leave it?
Well, David, I think both lanes are taking the same characteristic. The left-hand lane is hooking a little more than the right-hand lane. As you noticed during the first match, he's playing them a little different, a little farther left on the approach on the left-hand lane, but you still have to keep making that move to your left. Remember, if the ball goes high or goes to the left, your move is to the left. Good adjustment for anyone.
Guppy Troup. His opponent has started with 2 spares. If Guppy can start with 2 strikes, he'll seize an early advantage in this. See that T-shirt there? Guppy's girl.
He's got some fans. It's right next to Bill Spigner's wife. That's a cozy group there. They're bowling for a lot of money.
Guppy Troup starts with a double. Guppy Troup, we asked him earlier, what did he do to recover from a broken ankle that he suffered and caused him to miss 10 weeks on the pro tour?
Well, I've been doing a lot of practice and maybe 5-10 games a day just trying to build my ankle up, and everything's getting back together now, and hopefully it'll stay that way.
I'll tell you this, he sounds like he's got more Jacksonville, Florida accent than he has Edinburgh.
Well, he was out 10 weeks after a sensational start at the beginning of the year. He came back at the Firestone Tournament of Champions, struggled a little bit there, struggled the first couple of weeks of the spring tour, but his game is right in time right now.
It's a struggle out here every week.
You're right.
And he starts with 3 in a row.
Watch the 6 pin, the 2nd pin on the right-hand part of your screen. Just love tap out the 10. When a player can carry that hit, that's around the 16th board at the pocket, between the 16th and 7th. He has margin of error to the right and left. A pro bowler can strike as high as the 18th board by tripping out the 4-7, or he can strike as light as the 15th board by wall shotting and hitting to the side.
21 pins. This man trails, needs a strike. Starts with 2 spares, gets a strike. almost like last week. Let's take a look at the profile here. Bill Spigner, Bo.
Powerful player, 6 foot, 205 pounds. He uses all that weight and that momentum to come through. That particular shot was his best of the day. His wrist was right underneath the ball, imparted a real nice lift and spin, drove all 10 pins to the pit. A perfect shot.
Guppy, winner of the Elton John look-alike contest here in Torrance, California.
Oh, David, you've come a long way from Meigs County, partner.
Partner, but I go a long way to get back there, I'll tell you.
Spagner, trailing by 21, can cut the lead to 11 with another hit.
Very well done. Bill Spigner against Guppy Troup in an exciting match, number 2 of the Professional Bowlers Association Spring Tour from Torrance.
Introducing the Cutter, Black & Decker's most powerful string trimmer yet. The Cutter powers through grass, powers through weeds. And with the Cutter's command feed, just the touch of a button keeps the string at its most powerful cutting length. The Cutter, with command feed from Black & Decker, it can cut the time of trimming your yard.
When I was a kid working this old gas pump, I never thought I'd be back here telling you that Pennzoil saves gasoline. But now, that same Pennzoil that protects your engine saves you gas. Pennzoil has added gas savings to their regular multi-weight oils, and they've done it at their regular price. That way, more people can afford to save gas.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
Along with Bo Burton, this is Dave Dials, and this is professional bowling at its finest, live from Torrance, California, a $125,000 Penzoil Open. This is Guppy Troup. Very stubborn. Looked like a good hit, Bo. There must have been some reason for that.
David, a solid 8-pin. Look at this. Watch the 5-pin chop straight off the 8. This is just maximum power. These 3-pound, 5-ounce pins with polyester plastic coating like that, Dave, move as fast as 38.5 feet per second. So that's a real fast pin action. And when you have that, you leave a lot of solid 8s, but you make up for those taps with the light hit.
Guppy Troup routinely fares in the 4th, and he is up by 10 pins on Bill Spigner.
Dave, to follow up on that pin action, with the plastic pin moving a little faster like that, and compare it to the older wood pin that players used was used about 20 years ago. A wood pound and equivalent weight would travel at about 23 feet per second. So that's tremendous difference between 23 feet per second and 38 feet per second. That is flat moving.
I assume these pins also last longer.
Well, you get more strikes, so you don't have to hit them as often.
He knew right away that he had made a bad shot. Very heavy, almost straight on. Let's look at this profile of Guppy Troup.
Guppy Troup holds the ball low, gets a good push away. Short backswing, David, very much under control. Nice straight through the shot. That particular time, you saw he was off balance and pulled the ball high. 3-6-10.
Yeah, 3-6-10. And how would he go about picking it up, Bo?
Cross lane, Dave, a little extra speed. You want to hit right between the 3 and 6 and carry out the 10.
He doesn't do it. Hit it too thin. Didn't get between them.
Well, that's part of our tip. You know, we were talking about the 3-9-10 split today. You want to go on the outside of the 3-pin. See if Guppy's ball breaking through. The 2 hit the 3, chops the 6 off, does not take out the 10.
At a time when he could have taken a sizable advantage in this match, he has slipped a bit. And now trails by 4 against this man, Bill Spigner.
And watch Spagner jump on this one, a key shot. Usually when a pro gets an opening, he really goes after it if he's a winner.
Looked a little thin, could have gotten it with a break, didn't get the break, leaves the 7.
He jumped all over that ball, ripped the 5 into the 4 and the 7, but did not carry the 7-pin out. That's a hit that he'll normally carry, almost any pro will carry, especially when you put that quality behind the bowling ball. A bad break for Spagner. With a conversion, he'll only lead by 3.
Reminder, coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, 5 Eastern and Pacific, 4 Central, U.S. Grand Prix Motocross from Carlsbad, California. And Larry Holmes will be on hand with the inimitable Howard Cosell to analyze last night's victory in the third round over Leon Spinks and a preview of the U.S. Open Golf Championship from Marion Golf Club in Pennsylvania. Reminder, next week, this time, live coverage of the U.S. Open.
Dave, that motocross is a lot like bowling in a way. You got to find the groove on the track. That's what the players are trying to find out here on the lane, the track or the groove to the pocket.
See a little more loft, getting it out on the range there. And he made his adjustment properly there, came back with a strike. Spagner, a strike in the 6th. He is now up over Guppy Troup.
Spagner has bowled so well, David. His performance in Portland, 237. He had a 232 opening game here. Looks strong, kept every ball in play, in a good spot, light in the pocket, has margin of error to the left. That's what the pros like.
Looked like he was off balance again, but he carried. You know, you talk about these two guys competing here in match number 2. You know, the difference in what they've averaged all week long here is 2/10. 2/10. Troup averaged 217.4, and Spagner 217.6.
That's over a 4-day period, David. 42-game format. Scoreboard tells the story. Guppy Troup can make up for that open in the 5th and retake the lead with another strike here in the 7th. Starting to hold that ball a little higher. He feels he's a little more comfortable holding the ball higher in the push-away position.
He shrugs as if to say, well, I don't know what you have to do. I guess what you have to do is hit it a little more solidly. He leaves a 6 and 10.
Well, David, that's the difference in the real pin action. The very fast-moving pin like this, that hit cuts through and he leaves a 6-10. Let's say a heavier pin or a slower pin action, pin speed, that ball may have been a strike. So you have to play the pins and the lanes.
Didn't have the real click when it connected that time. Cross lanes and gets 2. We're going to leave live action from Torrance, California, the match between Guppy Troup and Bill Spigner, and we will return.
If you use Desinex for athlete's foot, here's something you should know. Doctors recommend the medication in Aftate 10-to-1 over that in Desinex. 10-to-1. And here's something else you should know. Aftate kills athlete's foot fungus on contact and helps prevent reinfection. That's why we say Aftate really works. And here's another Aftate product that really works. It's Aftate for jock itch in the green can.
We know you're serious about saving money. That's why American Airlines invented Amerifares. And right now, American can fly you anywhere we fly in the continental United States for $179 or less. And you'll get the service that has made us the #1 choice for domestic travel. Super savings and super service. That's some combination.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
Rev up for top motocross action next, with Americans coming on strong in the U.S. Grand Prix Motocross Motorcycle Championship. Plus, home Spinks excitement and an advance look at one of golf's most prestigious events. ABC's Wide World of Sports is next.
Okay, we're back live from Torrance, California. While we were away, Bill Spigner left the 3-6-10 in the 7th, and he converted. He is up by 3 over Guppy Troup. This is Spigner. Very solidly done. Put them all right in the pit, and he has a strike in the 8th.
Spagner bowling so well, using the loft and everything just perfect in the pocket. Watch this hit. He drills all 10 pins right in the pit. That's where you want him, solid in the pocket. Not much doubt about that one.
Guppy Troup, who wins the Wardrobe Award if he wins nothing else.
He's eligible for the Dave Dowles Golf Classic with that outfit, David.
Get up.
He's saying, get up, and it does. And he is on a strike in the 8th. That's what you like to see, responding to the challenge. Troup trailing by 3, and we have a live microphone on Guppy Troup. We'll be eavesdropping from time to time.
Look at that fish hanging around his neck. You think he isn't set up to psych somebody out?
He's
old
got it all
Guppy.
going, hasn't he?
Yes, he does, but he needs one more strike right here to retake the lead from Bill Spigner. 9th frame. This is the 9th and 10th frame again, where most of the matches on the Pro Bowlers Tour are determined.
All right, let's listen. And Troup has a double. Coming in the important 9th frame. Look at him. And there's Mike Aulby out of Indianapolis, Indiana, waiting in the wings, as Harry says, to meet the winner of this match.
And there's his father, Jim, who flew in from Indianapolis to watch his son bowl today. Mike Aulby, the only lefty in the championship round today. A proud father standing by, but the situation for Spagner is once again he trails in the late frames. He has to perform under pressure. Needs a strike to retake the lead.
He's bowling in the 9th. All 10 into the pit once again. Spagner on a double.
Did he open him wide open that time? Watch this hit. This is the power ball of all shots. He just can't open the pins, just splits them right out. When you can carry the 6 and 10 out like that, it's amazing how he drove that 3-pin back into the 6 and 10. An unusual hit for the amateur bowler. The great pro occasionally can get that. He got it at a critical time. Spagner with 3 more strikes can actually shut out Guppy Troup.
Because they're both on doubles and Spagner's up by 3. I can figure that out.
So it's who can perform in the 10th frame again. Spagner's been so great. His 2 matches we've seen on television, one in Portland and the last match against Wayne Webb.
Oh, he kicked it away. Kicked it away. Literally and figuratively, just booted it.
Well, every player makes a mistake. I'm not making an excuse for a player because sometimes players choke and sometimes players don't. Bill Spigner has been bowling so well, just that the nature of a human being, you have to make some mistakes. At this particular time, he has opened the door for Troup, but if he can convert this, the match will be all even, David.
Boy, as soon as he let go of that, you could see that right foot going out, and he just saying, doggone it.
Needs to make this to stay even.
Does not get it. He's open in the 10th. Is there any worse feeling in bowling than that?
Well, he won this match, last match, with a good break where his partner, his opponent Wayne Webb, left a solid 10. Now the tide has turned. Spagner has opened the door for Guppy Troup. All that Guppy needs is a mark. Any kind of spare will wrap this match up, and he'll go on to meet Mike Aulby.
Troup working on a double.
Take your time.
He says, take your time. Got by with a Brooklyn.
Jeff Morin's making that hit famous. Guppy Troup gets a break.
Is the winner. He has defeated Bill Spigner and now will go on to take on Mike Aulby in our penultimate match on the Professional Bowlers Association Championship.
STP, a big name in racing for nearly 20 years. STP oil treatment on the track in some of the world's most expensive engines. Around the track, around the world, every day, tens of thousands of people get STP oil treatment. Get it for your car. Satisfaction guaranteed. Around the track, around the world, STP oil treatment is #1.
Gentlemen, this meeting is called to decide which one of us is the most popular light beer drinker of all.
Must be talking about me.
I vote for my buddy, Boog Powell.
Should I take the minutes?
You can take all year.
Hey,
I cast my vote for Billy Martin.
I'll second that. Me too.
Excuse me, this chart clearly shows what a little showing off can do.
Now, wait a minute. I'm the most popular guy here. Gentlemen, wait, a little respect. At least we agree that light beer from Miller tastes great.
Let's do it! Tastes great! Let's do it! Tastes great! Let's do it!
Better make it a secret ballot.
Could we vote for Red Auerbach?
Please.
What?
I'm voting for me.
Count the vote, and that's no joke.
All right. Gentlemen, we have a winner.
Says here the winner is Bubba Smith.
I knew this was a bad idea.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
You see what's happened so far. Spagner by 4 over Webb. Troup by 32 over Spagner. And now it's Troup versus Alby, and we'll see our first left-hander today. Bo, they've been bowling well, as we thought at the top of the show.
Everybody's been around the pocket. The carry's been good. The players have averaged 224 so far for the 4 games bowled, and we expect it to get even better. Mike Aulby, exciting young player, coming in. First time we've seen him since the winter tour.
And he wants to win this for a young man, a courageous youngster, in Anderson, Indiana, Jason McGammon. 7 years old. He's already won some bowling trophies, and he's a good friend of Mike Aulby. Big fan of Mike Aulby. Mike said, I'm dedicating today to Jason McGammon, and he opens with a strike.
There's a lot to that story, too, isn't it, David?
Great story, and Jason's a game youngster and fighting a tough battle, and he and Mike Aulby have become really good friends, and Mike's taken some of his awards out to Jason, and shows you what kind of a guy Mike Aulby is, and our best to Jason McGammon, too. Guppy Troup looked a little thin, Nelson.
Went for the wall shot. Guppy, nice and relaxed after winning that first match, threw that ball really well. The right-hand lane, as we said, lane 14 here at the Gable house, does not finish your hook quite as much as the left-hand lane. Naturally, a few lighter shots. Guppy shot that record of 6 300s in the Pro Tour in 1979. That was for a full season, of course.
A spare for Guppy Troup. Professional bowling at its best. Now, in 2 weeks, we reminded you that next week we'll see the U.S. Open Golf Championship. 2 weeks from now, doubles classic from the Showboat in Las Vegas, and Chris Schenkel will be back with you then. And next season, it's more than a season, it's a celebration. 20th year of Professional Bowlers Tour on ABC. The season premiere, January 9th. Super year.
Have some strong teams going in that doubles, trying to unseat Tommy Hudson and Pete Couture, the defending champions.
You didn't pick a bad partner either.
Earl Anthony.
Oh.
Well, did you pick him or did he pick you?
Well, I'm going to prove to Earl Anthony that he can win at the Showboat. I think he's been runner-up there 6 times, and I think we're going to have a tough team to beat. But then you got to remember, Marshall Holman and Mark Roth have almost dominated that tournament over the years. So anything can happen. A lot of great players out here.
Still didn't answer the question. Did you pick Earl? Did Earl pick you?
Well, we're partners. Put it that way.
All right. That's 2 weeks from now, the Doubles Classic in Las Vegas, and next week, the U.S. Open Golf Championship. I think we got about 1,000 cameras out there covering that. Can't wait to see that next week.
And our good friend Bob Goodrich, who's produced it, stopped by today, watching the action here.
Mike Aulby opens with a double. Mike Aulby has switched from a 15-pound ball to a 16-pound ball, and earlier today, Bo asked him why.
I normally use the 15-pound ball because I could do a little more with the ball, I could get a little more turn, a little more action on the pins, I felt. Now today, I switched to 16-pound ball because the oil is going a little farther down the lane. I need a little more hitting power with the 16-pound ball, and that's why I switched.
You know, it was evidenced in that last shot as he got the light wall shot with the head pin going the sideboard, taking out the 3-5-6. I don't think he would have carried that with the lighter 15-pound ball.
Alby with 3 in a row.
Such a good decision he made, David. There again, the extra ball weight carried the 5 into the 10. Watch it. Here's his father, Jim, watching that. He knew his son threw a great shot as Mike Aulby swished in the 3rd. He leads by 21 pins.
They win, honey.
His dad has what you call a wizened face.
He sure does. Here's a wisey competitor, though.
Yes, yes.
He's saying yes, yes, and it is yes. After 2 spares, Guppy Troup with a strike that he needed desperately to stay in the match. You can't let Alby get too far in front. And Troup trails by 21.
There's a little different psychology in bowling a one-game match, David, other than bowling like 42 games we bowl in a tournament. You want to come out of the gate running hard. It's much like a 100-yard dash out here in the championship round, where the 42 games in the 4 days previous to this is more like a 10,000-kilometer race. You got to pace yourself, take your time.
You pace yourself in this, you're on the sidelines.
Very true. Guppy Troup needs this strike to cut Mike Aulby's lead to just 11 pins.
And he gets it, everything into the pit. Guppy Troup with a double when he needed it most. We're going to leave live action from Torrance, California. We'll return with more bowling action in a moment.
You don't need a haircut, Jim. You need Brill cream.
Brill cream?
Sure. Your hair is short enough, but it's a mess.
It sure is.
Brill cream's so concentrated, just a little dab keeps hair healthy looking and in control all day. Look, I'll put a little dab of Brill cream here. Nothing here.
See? Even with the hair blower, the Brill cream side doesn't fly around. Without Brill cream, hair flies around.
Terrific.
You're right. With Brill cream, a little dab will do you.
It's hard to believe, but your house is a little like a balloon. It actually expands and contracts. And to be effective, your house paint has to stretch right with it. Dutch Boy's Super Latex house paint does just that, and we can prove it. We painted half this balloon with Dutch Boy, the other half with regular house paint. Watch. Regular paint cracks and peels. Dutch Boy doesn't. It's that simple. Dutch Boy's Super Latex. The proof is in the performance.
We're back to live action now, along with Bo Burton. This is Dave Dials. Mike Aulby, after opening with 3 in a row, got a spare in the 4th, left the 9-pin, or left the 7-pin rather, and he is up by 10. And Aulby here trying to get back in that strike groove. Boy, he extends himself, doesn't he?
Super shot there, David.
Well, he was really extended.
He got the good extension, the good loft. And I'll tell you, extension is so important to the game. Now watch this young man. Great form, great young bowler. Watch how he extends through the shot, reaches well out. See that ball lofted about 24 inches over the foul line. Maximum lift and turn. Ideal result. Solid strike.
Mr. Slacks. Guppy Troup. I want those slacks.
Can even a match with a strike here, Dave.
Back up, dummy.
He says back up, dummy.
Guppy Troup reminds me of the great Tom Hennessy. He knows how he pumps the ball and relaxes before he releases the shot. He may pump that thing 2 or 3 times. When he feels just right, that's a good trigger for his timing mechanism, and he starts rolling. That's really a nice way to get your position on your push away and your timing set up. Now watch how he sets up on this shot.
Come on now.
You'll start pushing that ball away. Keep it moving, keep relaxed. You don't want to lock in and tighten those muscles up. He's pumping more and more, David, as the pressure comes on.
Nice shot.
He said nice shot, and he got it. 4 in a row for Guppy Troup.
Well, he feels he's had some breaks. He pulled one shot in setback for him. He dropped one. He hit solid in the pocket. And that time he went a little wide and he carried the wall shot. He's put the pressure on Alby. Mike Aulby with 5 really good frames. Is 7 pinning left in the 4th. But he trails by 10.
What was he putting on there? Rosin?
A little rosin that helped hold on the ball. But that's not such a good idea. Sometimes you hang up in it every once in a while.
Well, he hung it up there. Mike Aulby, 2 in a row. Great match. Match is all even.
It's all right to put the rosin on your hand or in the thumb hole, but it's illegal to put the rosin on the outside of the ball to change the natural roll of the ball. In other words, let's face it, if the lanes are a little slick and you put rosin where your ball rolls, you might get a little better hook. But he's actually pounding it on the top, and then he rubs it off with the towel and rubs it into the holes.
Gaylord Perry does the same thing, right?
Well, I think you caught us there. Alby all even, 6 for 8.
Mike Aulby working on a double. Make that a triple. What a match we had. Let's take a look at the standing 6 through 24 in this fine tournament.
160-man field, the top 24. Here's how they finished. David Houston, 6. Tough Marshall Holman went over $100,000. David Ozio, Steve Westberg, the lefty, was close. Tommy Milton, Jay Robinson, steady as ever. Kenny Fernandez and the cranker Bob Hanley for Fairway, Kansas in 13th.
This is Guppy Troup, Jacksonville by way of Edinburgh, Scotland. Came here when he was 3. He says, back up, dummy. He's got it working 5 in a row. Mark Fidricks talks with the baseball all the time. He's doing it down at Evansville now. Would like to be doing it in Detroit if we ever get baseball back.
Ernie Schlegel in 14th. The Polish prince right there, a man from your area. Gil Sliker steady. Ted Hannes, who was up there early. Eddie Ressler Jr. Malacosta, a winner on the spring tour. Jeff Bellinger. Steve Wonderlick had a 300 game this week. Peter McCordick, Art Trask, and a guy who beat 136 other players in 24.
$1,180. They just pay your tips.
Match all even, 8th frame.
Frame in which he needed it squarely on the headpin. He got it. Could have gotten the split, really, but
this is one of our
4-7
total scoring matches so far. Guppy Troup at a 237 pace with a conversion here. Mike Aulby still has a chance for a sensational 279, but the match is far from over. 2 pins just separate these great players.
He stuck him in the pit, but the 8th frame, it's a spare, and he faces this man who is working on 3 in a row. Troup was spare up in the 8th after having gotten 5 consecutive strikes.
The key to watch for Mike Aulby is to keep his arm close to his body. If he has any one fault he sometimes gets into, he gets his arm away from his left leg as he comes through, and he doesn't get a true shot. Threw that one good.
Well, it looked to me like he didn't get quite in the pocket where he wanted, but because of the tremendous pin action, he got everything down.
Well, he got the wall shot. You see from our way. Watch the head pin right in the center go to the sideboard and take out the 3, 5, 6, 9, and 10. 1 pin taking out 5. That's great pin action. But once again, it was that good form, that good arm swing that produced the results. Leads by 12, but the match is by no means over.
Critical frame, the 9th. This is Mike Aulby out of Indiana. His father flew in to watch it. Needs a strike. Gets it. Little cooperation there. That's twice in a row. He owes one.
Divine Providence had that one, David. The head pin, watch this. The pins will speak for themselves. There's probably 5 pins standing. Look at that. There they are. Watch the head pin do most all the work. And this is a break you don't see very often. Remember, those top-heavy pins fall over pretty easy once they're put in motion. The pressure is now on Troup.
I don't know who said it first, but a man said I'd rather be lucky than good anytime. He was a little lucky that time. This is Guppy Troup. Needs a strike in the 9th. And gets it on a perfect hit. Couldn't help but get them all that time. Couldn't say that, though, because sometimes you can leave the solids.
Well, Guppy had a few solid hits that he didn't carry, but that one was perfect. He must strike now, though. As the scoreboard shows you, Guppy Troup's going at a 237 pace. Mike Aulby has enough strikes already to be in the 250s with just a spare. So Troup needs this strike.
He needs a couple or 3 of them.
Well, he needs this one to force Aulby to mark. If he doesn't strike here, Aulby is the winner if he just shows up in the 10th.
Yes, and yes it is. Had to have it, and got it. Guppy Troup with a double, a strike in the 10th, and showing the effects of the heat.
The moxie and talent of a great pressure player. Remember, he bowled 6 300s in one season. Remember, when you're up there and need a 300 shot, you got to be a great clutch player. This guy can do it as good as anyone. With a strike here, he will really put the pressure on Mike Aulby. So far, he's forced him to mark. Now he can force Aulby to fill at least 19 pins in the 10th with another strike.
31 years old, Guppy Troup. Let's watch.
Nothing.
He said nothing.
Thank you.
He said nothing. He got 9. Might as well have been nothing as far as he's concerned.
Well, he's forced Alby to strike. He'll be around the 240s. If he makes this 246, Alby needs a spare to win the match.
Just has to mark, right, Alby?
Correct.
Well, he's done what he can. He needs a break now.
Well, we talked about having some good scores. Guppy Troup 246, a sensational score, but it may not be enough. Alby needs a mark. Ball in those holes to dry him off. That
Taking
pressure.
his time, yeah. A little extra time.
It's amazing how that pressure makes those hands perspire. But this is what the good players are made of, to perform under the pressure.
Ooh, left a batch of them. Left 4 of them, a cluster.
Left the 3, 5, 6, 9. David, by no means is this match over. Alby must spare. Watch the ball hit light. Now, we saw him carry this hit in the 8th and the 9th where the head pin went to the sideboard with that good lift and spin. But that time he didn't get the leverage. The head pin didn't do the job. He must convert this to win. Alby putting a little tape in his thumb hole. Apparently he's losing the ball. He doesn't want to lose it anymore.
The head pin just didn't do the work that time.
Well, the head pin's gone now. He has to knock these remaining 4 pins down or he does not advance to the championship match.
He got him. A tough competitor, Mike Aulby, has defeated Guppy Troup, and the Professional Bowler Spring Tour will continue from Torrance, California after this message from one of our sponsors and station identification.
Here comes Johnny Rutherford, 3-time Indy 500 winner. To protect that engine at blazing speed, he runs with Pennzoil. Johnny's wife, Betty, she uses Pennzoil too. But she uses Pennzoil's regular-priced gas-saving multi-weight oil. Pennzoil, for cars like Johnny's and Betty's and yours. Gas-saving Pennzoil, quality in every extra mile.
Coal is America's great energy resource, and digging for it still takes a lot of hard-working muscles, sometimes sore, aching muscles.
I need Absorbine Junior. Just massage it in. Its warmth penetrates, soaks deep down, relaxes and loosens up sore, stiff muscles.
I use Absorbine Junior once in a while when I get a touch of arthritic pain.
Ah, great.
Use Absorbine Junior. It's hard-working medicine for sore, aching muscles.
Nuclear weapons. Who has them? Monday, watch ABC's World News Tonight.
We've had some great scoring in match number 3. Alby over Troup, 255 to 246, and now it's going to be Alby versus Baker for the championship, $20,000 here from Torrance, California. Let's talk about the 3-9-10, the double wood split. There's a trick to making it, and Nelson Burton Jr. tells you how.
The Professional Bowler's Tip of the Week is being brought to you by Rolaids.
Today we're going to show you an exception to the normal spare making rule, the 3-9-10 double wood split. From the overhead view, you can see the hidden double wood 9-pin. This is the pin that causes the trouble. The view on the right is the deceiving view that a bowler might have. For the normal 3-10, you would move the extreme left, use the third arrow, and allow the ball to deflect from the 3 into the 10. But as you can see, the ball does not have an angle to carry the 9 out. Our exception to the rule involves moving to the right on the approach, taking a trajectory down the right side of the lane to increase the angle to the double wood 9-pin. As you increase your angle to the right, you increase your chances of making this difficult split. Remember, move to the right, aim for the first arrow, and you will increase your chances of making the 3-9-10 double wood split.
We asked Roger Staubach to find out how people spell relief.
How do you spell relief?
For acid indigestion, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For heartburn, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids really does spell relief.
Like a sponge, Rolaids antacid medicine consumes 100% of the acid required to give millions 100% relief.
How do you spell relief?
For acid indigestion, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For millions of Americans, Rolaids spells 100% relief.
Along with Nelson Burton Jr., this is Dave Dials. We're live from Torrance, California, and this one is for all the marbles, $20,000. Tommy Baker, who has been the #1 man, he's going to face this man, Mike Aulby. And you talk about good scores, which you predicted, Bo. 233, the average, through 3 games.
And it may take more than that to win this match. Aulby super tough in the position round. Baker dominated the field so far today.
That was not the way he planned it.
Went high, left the 6-8. That's a left-hander's answer for the 4-9 split. That's when the ball cuts through on the fast-moving pins. Actually, with a little slower pin, that ball would have been a strike, but watch this ball. Very little deflection. See it just cut right through the heart of the pins, driving the 3-pin around the 6.
Did you get it? No, this is both. Just had to tap it. Didn't get it. So Mike Aulby is open in the first frame. And now he takes on Tommy Baker. You talk about a guy who's been a reducing plan. The guy, what, he used to weigh 235, you're telling me? He's lost half his body. He only weighs 150.
He's a butterball, but he took up track. I've run track with him a couple of times. He's in great shape, does a lot of weightlifting, a very disciplined player. What a great style.
Baker, you know, others throw hard. We asked him earlier, how have you been successful with really what you'd call a medium speed ball?
Most of the top players throw the ball hard, but I have most success throwing the ball at medium speed because I don't have the powerful turn or release that they have, and I compensate it with speed and finesse.
And precision, David. This fella is really stroking as well as I've seen anybody on the tour for a number of years. He's got it all together.
One of the best strokes to come out in 3 or 4 years, huh?
I agree. That's not just my opinion. That's the opinion of many of the top players out here. Look how he fiddles with his finger holes. He has to have that grip just right, and under the pressure, he just wants it perfect, especially with that heat out there.
Better hit than he had in the first frame, yet he leaves a stubborn 10.
The solid 10. The 6 goes to the sideboard, doesn't take out the 10. And I just spoke with Guppy Troup, who bowled so well in that previous match. He came back and he said both lanes are rolling almost identical. Maybe the left lane a smidgen more, as he said, is hooking. But he says once you find your stroke on this pair, you're going to have some big scores.
Routine. Tom Baker out of Buffalo, New York. He has won in excess of $50,000 this year.
Aulby right up in good shape. 1979 Rookie of the Year. Last year he won over $80,000 as he was number 3 on the prize list. He's won more than $17,000 this year. He can double that with a win here.
Stubborn 7.
Well, he's been around the pocket on both shots. The 6-8 in the first frame, didn't get a good break. He left the light 7 or weak 7 in the second. But when he's throwing the ball like that, the pocket is close by. Just make good shots, and strikes will come around. There's his career earnings for just 2 short years. This man has got a great future on the Pro Bowlers Tour.
After being open in the first, Mike Aulby has a spare. In the second, he trails Tom Baker by a dozen pins. Aulby needing a strike here.
Some lessons to be learned from Mike Aulby. Number one, he uses his lighter ball for the spares, which is really a good idea, and he kills the roll. You heard it hitting the thumb hole going down there. You don't need turn and power to convert those single spin spares. You just need accuracy.
He's the youngest bowler ever to win the PBA National Championship and beat Earl Anthony in doing it. And gets them all into the pit. Now he's found the groove.
Both these players in excellent physical shape, as you see Alby's ball entering the pocket right into the 1-2. Excellent shot, driving all the pins in the pit. You just can't do it any better than that. But both players, David, are good trainers. Baker very disciplined with his personal life. He watches the food he eats, trains all the time, does some weightlifting, and that's the way you stay in top shape out on a pro tour. You know, he's actually worn a blister on the little finger of his left hand. You see it tucked underneath the ball? He's got a big blister he showed me right before we went on the in the championship round here, that from fiddling with the finger holes on the right hand.
Field goal.
The one disadvantage of the medium speed ball, you don't get quite the speed on the pins. This ball rolling at about 16 miles an hour compared to about 18 for Alby. Drives the 5 down into the ground, and not with the extra ball speed. Doesn't drive the 5 over in the 7 or the 6 into the 10. Very unlucky break. It'll even the matchup. Baker kind of looking at it, taking his time, just spending a little extra time to compose.
He didn't go
his
change.
thoughts. No, I know that. The 7-10. That's the call letters of a radio station of a good buddy of mine that came down here. Scott St. James, former St. Louis, came down to watch a championship round.
Gets the pin. So as Alby was open in the first, Baker is open in the third. Take a look at this, Bo.
You want to emulate his style. Watch this young man. 5-step delivery. Everything in perfect position. Good shoulder balance. Look at that left arm out. Arm close to his body. Good turn. Hand going around the ball and up through. Foot perpendicular to the foul line. Just got an unlucky break and trails by 1. Oh, see that little finger right over there, right next to his thumb? He actually wears a blister from fiddling around with those finger holes like that. He waits till it feels just right, and then he goes.
Heavy on the head pin. I tell you, that seems more of a nervous habit than trying to find the right thing. That's like a pitcher tugging at his cap or something. Loose skeezes. I remember a baseball player, with Kansas City and the Yankees, played briefly with Detroit. He kept putting his hand inside his right hip pocket all the time. Such a nervous habit. Rocky Colavito used to step out of the box about 6 or 7 times. Rocky's a mushroom farmer out of Temple, Pennsylvania. So you wouldn't have known that if you hadn't done this show with me.
Not if I wasn't from Detroit, that's for sure. The 3-6-10, a pivotal shot so far in all the matches.
All right, and he converts in the fourth, and we're going to leave live action from Torrance, California. The final championship match between Alby and Baker will be back.
When I'm playing ball, I don't care how much I sweat. It's part of the game. Oh, rap! But off the field, I want to feel nice and dry. And I want to smell nice. That's why I use Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant. It's the wide stick. Effective protection with more dryness to help fight wetness. And it goes on dry so you can get dressed right away. So get on the stick. The wide stick.
Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant by Menace.
It may be cool outside, but in here, it's hot. Little 4-cylinder engines work harder than big engines, but their oil filters are smaller. So look after your little car right. Change the oil and put in a new Fram filter when you're supposed to. After all, a little engine costs a lot. A Fram filter doesn't. But the choice is yours. You can pay me now, or pay me later.
Along with Bo Burton, this is Dave Dials. Mike Aulby left the 5-pin in the fourth, converted it. He is up by 1, and he is bowling in the 5th frame.
The action slowed down a little bit for the $20,000 first prize. I think there's a couple of factors. Number one, Mike Aulby came out swinging so hard in the first game. He's got to have a little time to recollect his thoughts. And Baker just hasn't got lined up yet.
Strike for Alby. So, I'll put you on the spotter, but it seems like both players are gasping a little bit. Like, I don't want to suggest that neither wants to win, but maybe, you know, maybe there's an added pressure out there. Well, Alby, sure there is for $20,000.
Alby came out swinging. You know, it's like boxing match. You can't go full throttle all the time. Alby with a 255 last game needs a little rest, and I think he's back in right now with that strike in the fifth frame. Tommy Baker, with that slow, methodical style, is very tough to bowl one-game matches. The most successful one-game match players are usually the hard throwers.
Gets them all. Took that 10 pin out right at the last instant. So each man has struck in the fifth.
And the reason a hard thrower would be usually better, here's a low replay. Watch the 6 pin on the right-hand part of your screen, the 2nd pin. Watch it just lay up against the 10 pin. This is that 3-5 pin, and look at how it just bounces out of the gutter.
A little nudge.
Well, that's resiliency. Remember, that pin's made of plastic, just bounced right out of the channel and just tipped that 10 pin right out of there. Crucial hit. Matches down to 1 pin. Baker can take the lead.
Boy, he's a fidgeter.
Well, for $20,000 and after 4 days' work, he has his time to work and figure out exactly what he wants to do.
Figured it out right that time. Has a double now after a very sluggish start. Tom Baker, young man, 26, out of Buffalo.
Carbon copy of the hit he had in the 5th frame, David. Slapped the 6 into the 10 to take the lead.
Reminder after. Professional bowling, wide world of sports. Coming up at 5 Eastern and Pacific, 4 Central. Grand Prix motocross. Larry Holmes looks back at the Holmes-Spinks fight last night in Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. And a preview look at the U.S. Open.
Alby gets a good break breaking down the 5-6 split. Once again, the head pin went to the sideboard. It'll often take out the 5 and 6 and 10 pins. That time he got the 6-10, left the 5. With this conversion, he will trail in the match.
Mike Aulby with a spare in the 6th. Take a look at some footwork here.
Mike Aulby, 5-step delivery for a left-hander. Watch a really nice style as he hits that line. See that foot perpendicular to the foul line. It's good balance, good position, and you know you're square to the target when you let it go that way. He's bowling in his thumb hole much like we saw in the opening match. We saw Wayne Webb doing it. It dries some of that moisture out there. Remember, it's hot, and it's got to be a factor. Alby trails by 9.
Well, there's a little hidden timber back there, hidden plastic, I should say.
This reminds me of a 440 race where you run the first 220 real fast and you're having trouble pulling it on home. Here, Mike Aulby bowled that 255, and now he's really struggling going at a 186 pace if he can convert the difficult 3-9 spare. Double wood.
Well, you've talked about it so many times on your bowling tips, and I suppose it's the most difficult spare for the amateur to convert, and prove here that it's not simple for the professional.
Anytime you have double wood, David, there's 2 factors involved: accuracy to touch the pins and carry power to drive out the back pin. That made it much tougher. The door is open for Baker. And when you get a stroker player, like I said, the nice smooth player, when you get him out in the lead like this, he's going to be very tough to catch. A stroke player like Baker, when he's behind, sometimes has trouble getting charged up and getting a lot of strikes. But when he's in the lead, he very seldom blows it.
He's up by 22 and working on a double and gets them all. Now a triple in the 7th. And up by 32.
And he went for the throat on that shot. That was a big one. You notice how, look at his eyes. He knew he threw that great. He's going to saw that 5-pin right over into the 4-7, drive it all the way up to San Bernardino County. And a big shot, 32-pin lead through 7. And it happens so often on the Pro Bowlers Tour. When a player gives an opening like Alby did in the 7th, a top star like Baker will jump right on it. He maximizes it, can extend that lead to 42 pins with another strike.
Looking for his second championship. He won the Northern California Open last summer. Tommy Baker. Man who's lost 85 pounds. He got to write a book about that diet.
Well, he can put 20,000 pounds right in his pocket right now.
4 in a row for Tommy Baker, and he is charged well out in front by 42 pins over Mike Aulby in the race for $20,000 here in Torrance, California. We'll be back.
I learned to drive in an old Model T that belonged to my dad. We counted on Pennzoil to take care of the engine. Today, Pennzoil does even more, because now it saves gasoline. Pennzoil has added gas savings to its regular multi-weight oils, and they've done it at their regular price. So you don't have to spend extra money to get extra miles.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
10 tough, mean beards versus one Bic shaver. Can one Bic shave them all?
Bic, say your prayers.
My beard's gonna send this Bic to the showers.
That Bic is gonna beg for mercy.
It's amazing. It looks like one Bic shaver is going to shave these 10 tough beards.
Looks like Bic wins. I got a great shave also.
No way. Let me see the replay. Yes, one Bic shaved these 10 tough beards. How many shaves can you get?
The new world car, Ford Escort, now shows you another face. The sporty Ford Escort SS. It shows its stripes, pulls with front-wheel drive, handles with rack and pinion steering, smooths with four-wheel independent suspension, informs and invites. Ford Escort, the best-selling car line in America, foreign or domestic.
This is Tom Baker. Mike Aulby has had strikes in number 8 and number 9. If Baker strikes, it is over.
That's it. He just put the icing on the cake. The only thing to keep Baker from winning this title is he slips over the foul line somehow or hits his ankle and throws one in the moat. He would definitely be the winner. He could be up in the 240s. He's got a 42-pin lead. The $20,000 is 90% in his pocket. All he has to do is show up.
Well, he'll love that replica of the Johnny Rutherford car that won at Indy in 1980. It's going to be presented to him by Bob Smith, Director of Advertising for Pennzoil, and not to mention a $20,000 check to be presented by Jack Cogan, proprietor of Gable House Bowl here in Torrance, whose son Kevin finished 4th at Indianapolis and 2nd at Milwaukee.
Hey, Tommy, it's all over, partner. All you have to do is get up there and throw it and then give you the money now.
No need to be so nervous now.
No. He can't find the finger holes.
He's lost the perfect game in the no-hitter, but he's still got the victory.
Wait till his friend and roommate Joe Hutchison talks to him about this. That's your old buddy.
Beautiful Joe. Say hello to him for me. What a colorful guy he is.
There's a winner.
Tommy Baker with a strike in the 10th, and he is our winner. It'll be by a decisive margin. He's now up by 52 pins here at Gable House in Torrance, California.
It's all academic. Baker can finish with a 247. The best Alby can do is 205.
Baker talking to himself.
In the 240s.
Finishing in great fashion. Tommy Baker is the winner of the $125,000 Pennzoil Open. He'll get a check for $20,000, and he will get a beautiful trophy. Once again, the winner of the Pennzoil Open, Tom Baker. Travel arrangements made through a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airlines. That's what Friendly Skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sport.